Welcome to the Orange Flag podcast. There was finally a new winner in WEC Hypercar, but BOP still has a long way to go for the 100% convergence we were promised. I'm Austin.
I'm Nicole.
I'm Aries. I had to do that. Starting off, though, with some stuff that was sort of reported a while back and finally was confirmed this week. BMW and Rahal, Letterman, Lenigan are saying goodbye to each other after, 2.5 decades of a technical partnership, a very close partnership. And I guess it had something to do with their performances in IMSA. And as has also been rumored, apparently WRT are expected to come over and take over this side of the operation as well. The one thing I find ironic, though, Rahal Letterman has 2 wins with the BMW LMDH. WRT has a big fat 0.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at it across the 2 series, it really feels like RLL has been the ones that have been performing. Like, yes, they've definitely had some strategy blunders, some pit stop blunders, some whatever happened at Long Beach. But overall, they feel like they have been the stronger team with this LMDH platform. And does it have anything to do with the FBI raid? Did we ever figure out what happened with the FBI raid?
I think that happened and was initially reported RLL, FBI raid, and then we never heard anything ever again.
I mean,
I think it's been
maybe
a year already.
It has something. It's been a minute. Yeah. So, it could have something to do with that, or it could be completely unrelated, but I'm gonna pretend that it's related because it's honestly the only thing that makes sense, unless the RLL partnership just wants to focus on other things. I mean, they're not doing so hot in IndyCar. Maybe that's what they want to focus on.
They haven't been doing so well over there in a hot second, so maybe a good move.
Yeah.
Something I was thinking, though, if WRT is the team that actually comes over, and I don't really think anyone else could do it, won't they stretch themselves a bit too thin, or are they gonna just absorb the BMW people that are working with Rahal right now?
I would assume that they would absorb the BMW people, but they're not going to be able to absorb the shop. They're not going to be able to, all of the infrastructure is RLL infrastructure that is combined between IndyCar and IMSA. So that's going to be a little bit interesting. I mean, there's nothing saying they have to stay in Indianapolis either. I mean, that makes sense for RLL the way it is. But nothing says they even necessarily have to have a U.S. base of operations. They can have a U.S. dispatch point. I mean, PPM doesn't really run out of North Carolina.
Yeah.
They run out of Germany. So, yes, there are Penske-specific people that run out of North Carolina. But in theory, WRT could run completely out of Europe and still run cars in the U.S.
It's why, for me, it's not, as big of a worry, I feel because there's other teams that are doing, a similar thing.
Yeah, they just have to have, a small core group, which would be the BMW people probably that are working for Rahal right now.
Yeah.
I think operationally they can still, because didn't WRT just open a massive new center in Europe?
That sounds right.
I think so, yeah.
I have no citations for that, but I feel like I remember in the past, during this season, WRT opening a new center. So, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. But yeah, COTA is now officially the next WEC race. We still have no confirmation from PPM on their lineup. There was a nice article that was basically like 3 paragraphs of it was just Kevin Estra saying how much he wants Matt Campbell to be there for COTA. Because of the heat, which, like, yes, it was 100 degrees last year, and the fact that it's
point.
like a physical track. Okay, 100 freedom units.
Yeah,
not
100
boiling
freedom
water.
units.
I
We're
mean,
not
it does feel
boiling
like you're
water.
about to die.
It was bad last year.
Sure.
Like, I got a really bad sunburn. I was, like, dehydrated every single day, even though I was drinking water. They had fantastic water refill stations. It was so hot.
So what I'm hearing is we bring electrolytes.
Yes, we're definitely bringing electrolytes.
That's my takeaway from this.
100%. So in the article, it said that PPM's going to get feedback from the drivers and management to decide on the COTA lineups, whether they're going to do 2-man or 3-man. I assume that the decision will be across both cars. Like, I don't think they're going to run a 3-man 6 and a 2-man 5. Like, that would be very strange, but
you never know.
Who knows? Didn't Toyota split this past weekend? Didn't they have a 3-man and a 2-man car? Yep. I think they did.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like
it's
trying
not
to recount. Yeah,
it's not an impossibility.
Just noped out of the WEC race. He was like, "Yeah, screw this. I'm not winning the title, so I'm just gonna go and pick up grid penalties in Formula E."
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Pretty much.
And that, like, we've kind of talked about it before in other sports car things, is like, is there really a benefit to either way? Like, to running 2-man or to running 3-man? Like, Cadillac did the 6-hour races 2-man last year. They didn't do poorly. It's not like they did any better when they ran 3-man. Actually, like, they screwed up on driver time.
I was gonna say, it was kind of the opposite.
Yeah, so, like, I don't think PPM would do that, but again, like, this is a car that a team that sent a car out to qualifying underweight, so who knows, they might mess up driver time. Sorry, PPM, but you did, so...
We're just stating facts here.
We are just stating facts here, but this past weekend was the only race that Porsche have done 2-man this year. It didn't go bad. I mean, 3-4 is the best overall team result this season. It's obviously not the best individual car result, but it is the best combined team result this season. So that didn't go poorly, but it also, as Aries was informing us, was, like, cold. So
well, if you are familiar with the Northern Hemisphere winter, you can say it was cold, but to us it's cold. So, yeah.
It was, I mean, but it was colder than 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
So, when we're comparing
Different
those
seasons, Nick.
I know.
But it's still like a fair comparison.
That's the only winter race that WEC runs, isn't it? Your race.
I think so, yeah.
So, yeah, I think
because
so.
technically others are, like, not yet winter. It's like autumn
like
still.
Qatar ran in February, but then they're in a desert, so that doesn't really count.
Right. It's like, that's kind of winter. And, like, Bahrain is kind of winter.
It's like, it's the borderlines of, like, the
But again, like, those are not
seasons.
really like wintry places. So
exactly.
But like I said, COTA is the next race. We are going to COTA. By we, I mean me and Oz. But what sort of race weekend content do we want at COTA? Because we have the silly stuff we've come up with, including frisbee and or hat throwing,
Take your
doing
pick.
my French Duolingo with the French drivers, riding the Dente, and bringing Matthew Gemini to Jamba Juice.
Which we figured out the closest one is like 30 minutes away. But
right, maybe it's near the Chili's. Maybe we can like rope this all. We can ride the Dente and go to Jamba Juice.
Yeah. Field trip.
A field trip, exactly. Mm-hmm. But if there's anything else you guys would like to see us do at COTA, let us know. You know, tag us or comment or something of the sort.
Do the things.
We will do that. Yeah. And then, I guess, to last weekend. The takeaway from that race is BOP is still freaking broken. It's just different now. Because Ferrari finally didn't win a race.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yay. The Cadillac curse is over. And
very
over
exciting.
In like a very big way because
yes.
They didn't just win a race, they went 1-2. Cadillac's previous best result was Le Mans 2023, right? Like when they got the third place, so
it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I gotta give it to COTA. They are an incredibly good team operationally. I mean, I think we've all known that, but to be a race-winning team last year with the 963, and then to switch to a completely different car this year, and again be a race-winning team, that's some operational excellence. People are, oh, Ferrari's so operationally excellent, that's why they overcome BOP. COTA is operationally excellent.
Yeah.
I have to give it to them. But they now have wins in LMP2, Hypercar with Porsche, and Hypercar with Cadillac, and that's very, very impressive for a team.
Yeah, they also kind of highlighted it on the broadcast because they were talking about all three guys in the 12 and how many wins they've gotten, and Will Stevens and his accomplishments that he's gotten, and obviously this one being really cool because it was Alex Lynn's like first overall WEC win, which is exciting, and he was very thrilled to win this race after 3 years. So everything about this race was just really cool for that team and those three guys specifically as well.
Yeah, despite that, I think everybody's takeaway was the race was pretty boring and maybe even in some ways worse than the previous races.
It was.
It was a different podium.
And I'm not saying this. I say this with a heavy heart because it was my home race. But yeah, it was not as entertaining as the previous ones. And I'm not even saying this because like the Ferraris were struggling because the yellow one at least came out with points. But I don't know. We just didn't see a lot of action. The thing is, I even remember talking about it in one of our 400 different group chats. Like it was like a little Noah's Ark, like the couples, like two caddies, two Porsches, two BMWs, not two BMWs, but anyway, even the
it would have been two BMWs.
It would have without the
without the failure, it very well on pace would have gone caddy, Porsche, BMW, Peugeot. And that's just not what you want.
I found it funny, like even my local commentators were like, this is like when Formula One does qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix, because it's like, the track everybody has the most data because of the testing, and then the true pecking order just shows there, and you don't really have a lot to play to do, so it's just 2 by 2 by 2 by 2.
Yeah. And it's not even like they were close. P1 was a minute ahead of P2. P3 was a minute ahead of P4, which, like, those were two of the same cars in those instances. Like, P1 and P2 were the same car. P3 and P4 were the same car. I understand. Lawrence has explained on the internet what happened and why they were so far back. Like, the traffic was brutal in that first stint. I get it. Like, this isn't Le Mans. You can't do, like, even because I have seen people say, well, why didn't they put Kevin in the car? Look at what he did at Le Mans. Why didn't they put...
It's
like,
different.
it's not Le Mans. Like, Kevin wasn't gonna... It's not like Kevin got in the car and passed all the cars when it was his stint. Like,
No.
Interlagos is a vastly different circuit, and the way that the BOP was working, like, the top speed that the Peugeot had, Kevin wasn't getting around the Peugeot either. Like, it's not like Lawrence had, like, issues and Kevin would have been the answer. Like,
no.
Like, and you know, if I'm saying that it wouldn't have helped to put Kevin in the car, that it probably wasn't the answer there.
Yeah. But it's just each track is going to be different. Like, each circumstance is going to be different because of multiple factors.
I hate, as a fan of that car, I hate the fact that anytime they start off the front row, let's say, people are going to question Lawrence Vantor if he does not pass everybody because of what Kevin did at Le Mans. Let's just, like, put what Kevin did at Le Mans as, like, an outlier. That was one of those, like, outrageous drives. We cannot expect that to happen every race. We should not be holding Lawrence or Kevin, for that matter, to that standard. So, how about we just stop that? Because that's frustrating to me as a fan of that car. And now to a car that I'm not a fan of, but I need to defend, because
which feels just wrong.
Being really, really unfairly treated. Something needs to be done with Toyota. Like, I'm sorry, it's almost like they need a separate BOP. That car was not designed for these regs, because they were the OG, essentially, right? Like, they are the holdover from the old era. They designed that car to be, what, almost 100 kilos heavier than all the rest of the cars. All of them are designed to be, what, like 1030, and it's designed to be like 1100? Like, I could be off on those numbers, but, like, it's designed, it's, like, absolute bare naked weight that it can get to is significantly heavier than all the rest of these cars. BOP has to take that into account. You are not balancing performance if you are not taking into account the fact that one car cannot get as light as all the other cars. It needs to get more horsepower to be able to fight. And, like, this is the team that won the manufacturer's title last year.
Yeah.
Came really close to winning the driver's title last year. Like, and the Aston Martin, brand new car. This is their first race with their very own BOP. They finished ahead of both Toyota. The 009 finished ahead of both Toyotas. Like, that just shows how broken BOP is. And I don't know, it just feels like last year worked. And people are going to know, you're saying that because the 6 won. And no, like, I'm not saying it because the 6 won. The 6 did win, not Formula 1, Kevin, Leck, but they
Are
did
you sure
win.
About that?
I don't know that Kevin's sure about that. I am sure about it, but I don't know that Kevin is. But both the drivers and manufacturers titles came down to the final race of the season, and came down to multiple cars, multiple brands in the final race of the season. To me, that feels like BOP was working. You know, yes, maybe you weren't having, I guess, Peugeot coming in, whatever they came in, 7th and 6th or something. But overall, it felt a lot more competitive than it has this year. So, I don't know.
if we're gonna go on about where Peugeot was last year, I mean, they did. I think they got like a top 5 in the final race of the season at Bahrain or
Didn't
something.
they get a did the 93 podium with the Ferrari penalty at Bahrain?
I was
Yes,
gonna say,
because-
actually, if we take it like hypotheticals, and like by hypotheticals I mean like all the extreme situations of like penalties and everything, technically, Peugeot had a good race.
Yeah, Peugeot did, in fact, with all of the penalties applied, end up with a podium
Yeah.
in Bahrain, didn't they?
So I was like,
where's my
actually,
Jev hat?
wait a minute.
There's my Jev hat. This is a Formula E Jev hat, but
Hey, he was asking about WEC while he was being interviewed at the Formula E race, so it's okay. It applies.
that was hilarious. He was like, "Can I see your phone?
Phone?
How are they doing? Where are they?" Like he was
Where is
blown
the
away that the
Peugeot?
cars were doing that well.
Yeah.
But no, it feels like the gains on any given weekend are super arbitrary. Like Alpine just was given extra everything early season, which like the podiums showed. Peugeot this weekend, like, were after where they were at Le Mans seemed like they were a completely different car.
Yeah.
And then Porsche the past 2 races. There's no denying that Porsche the past 2 races, the podiums again show it, are a different car than they were the previous races. So it's just, I don't know, something's wrong.
It just feels like you can really like predict things. It almost feels like of like it's gonna be these few cars like that are gonna be on the podium.
After the first 10 laps, you know, the first
It's like so predictable.
30 minutes of the race, and you can really see where everybody shakes out. Like, it was really clear. Like, and I think we kind of all could see it with the BOP adjustments the Cadillac got. I think everybody knew they were going to be strong. I think they'll be significantly less strong at COTA, but I also think that Porsche may take a reasonable sized hit. Because they're probably going to ignore the, previous 2 races in the calculation and just go off last race for some reason.
Who knows anymore?
Who knows what team will do it? Maybe they will give Toyota good BOP.
They heard more coming and they're like, Toyota.
It feels like that's how it, like, more so than either of the previous 2 years with these cars. It feels like it's the BOP is being given, right? Like, it's not, it doesn't make sense. It's not, doesn't feel equal. It's like, oh, they're letting Ferrari win this race. Oh, they're gonna let Cadillac win this race. Oh, they're gonna let Porsche have a chance at Le Mans.
Yeah, they're just picking and choosing. It's like they have a jar with like a bunch of like little popsicle sticks in it with like the team names on it, and they just like pick a team out of the jar. They're like, you get the good BOP.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like.
It does feel that way, yes. Like, I was reading an article about it this morning, and maybe it's a bad habit, but I do like to read the comments. And the perfect description for BOP this season, like they're just taking turns winning, instead of like actual parity. They're just taking turns winning. Like, yes. You win now, you win now, you get a podium, and you languish in the back of the field. So, do you happen to be, I don't know, maybe some sort of graphic that's being used for a racing series in good old 2025? Well, then you might be in danger. Because we've already mentioned this earlier this year about how series are seemingly changing their TV graphics package for whatever reason. And, well, the World Endurance Championship just randomly decided to change theirs 4 races into the 2025 season, and in my opinion, it's a downgrade. Bring back the transparent graphics. Like, I tweeted about this as a reply to the WEC post, and it never happens to me, but 400 people like my tweet, so yeah, maybe the people are voicing their own opinion too.
It's bad.
I don't like it because I like watching it look like Kevin is losing control of the car all the time. And the graphic perfectly blocks being able to see his steering input when they show their in-car. And like, yes, I know I can just watch the Porsche Twitch stream, but I don't want to have to split my attention between the broadcast and the Porsche Twitch stream. Because, like, they show the sixes in-car a decent amount. Like,
Yeah.
it is one of the more shown in-cars. And, like, what I mean by Kevin looking like he's, trying to crash or his crazy steering input is Kevin has very aggressive steering input, and it is very, very entertaining to watch. He obviously, like, generally keeps the car under control, but it just looks like he is on the ragged edge with that car, which, again, comes back to, is the 963 undrivable? Like, I so badly want to ask them all this. They're not gonna tell us, but
No.
like, I really want to know. Like, is that why he has to use so much steering input? But yeah, I want the transparent graphics so I can see the steering input again.
Mine is just like these new graphics. Just it's way too much.
Agreed.
And it's so big.
Yeah.
I don't like it. And at least for like IndyCar, it made sense because like they switched like broadcasters. So like making the switch of graphics, like you could predict that. This, they didn't switch broadcasters, so there's no reason for the graphics to just like randomly change.
No, there is not.
No. They were just like, yeah, whatever, Le Mans over. Let's just change it all up and let's piss people off, I guess. Because, like, one thing that I was thinking about TV graphics as I was showering this morning. I was like, they never seem to like stick to their own like identity. It's always a bit of, oh, one series does this, everyone else goes after that one and does the same thing. Like, remember when it was just the names scrolling across the top of the screen and everybody did that? Fine. Then it became like the same thing but static. Everybody did that, and then the scrolling thing went to the bottom. IMSA still does that, at least. But now it's the timing tower. It's the timing tower. Everybody has a timing tower. Like, I just want a clear screen, people.
I don't mind the timing tower if it's unintrusive. The problem is that the timing tower is so intrusive, but also, like, IndyCar's timing tower can be less intrusive because the IndyCar app gives you data. F1's timing tower can be less intrusive because the F1 app gives you data. WEC's timing tower cannot be unintrusive because the WEC app does not give you anything. If I want to know what tires a specific car is on, if I want to know how many minutes or laps since their last stop, if I want to know any details, the WEC app gives me none of that.
And also just like you could tell they tried to like keep somewhat of the transparency with this by making the blue like slightly see-through, and it doesn't work.
No, it does not. Yeah, fix that, WEC.
Please.
We'll say IMSA. I didn't really watch a lot of IMSA, but I definitely heard it was a good race. Really great result for AO Racing. It was their first double podium weekend as a team. Spike won in LMP2 and Rexy came in third in GTD Pro. Once again, good job, guys. I want Lauren Heinrich to be in a 963. I tweeted this morning. Get that kid into a 963, please. He is so good. And, like, some people were arguing with me, like, he's not a works driver. Julian Enlar wasn't a works driver either, and now he is, and he's in a 963. Like, and yes, he was in a 963 as contract guy last year. Maybe put Lauren in a 963 as a contract guy. Like, but get him in that car. Like, I genuinely, like, because at the beginning of the season, I was like, man, is it too soon to do that? I don't think it is. Like, how much better do we want him to be in the 911 before we put him in the 963? Like, does he need to lap the whole field every race?
Yes.
Like, is that our standard? And by I mean, like, the people that are arguing with me that he's not ready yet. Like,
the standard is he has to win every single race and lap
by
the
a lap.
whole field.
Yes.
Every race.
Lauren, you heard the people. That's what you gotta do.
Like, Lauren, you even have to, like, lap the hypercars. Like, not just your class. You have to lap everyone.
Yeah, so Lauren has to win overall.
Yes.
Okay. Overall wins in the 911. Got it.
Yeah.
Go for it, Lauren. And then, like, I guess keeping on AO's, like, way too good drivers, PJ Hyatt is too good. Like, he is... Like, people talk about Ben Keating, and, like, Ben is phenomenal. He really is. But PJ is in a class of his own in LMP2 as a bronze. Like, it's wild.
It was very obvious, like, this race specifically, too.
Yeah.
Like,
I've watched some highlights.
If you watched this race and you saw the gap PJ was able to just build on the rest of the field before Dane took over the car, like, it was a decent gap that he was able to pull, so.
And it's like, he's got Dane Cameron, who is a, reigning GTP champion as his teammate, and we're not talking about how good of a driver Dane is. We're talking about how good of a driver PJ is. Like, that's saying something.
Dane, you are also good. Okay.
Yes, Dane, you're also good, in case you're listening, or in case anybody that used to be your teammate is listening and tells you.
Team Dudley specific.
Yes, we know we have PPM people that listen. So don't go and tell Dane that we're talking crap on him. We're not. We're not giving his teammate extra props.
Yes. Yes.
But you did watch the race, right, Oz?
Yeah, I did watch the race, because I just had a lot of drivers that I support that were doing this race as, like, a one-off, but also guys that were, like, permanent guys doing it as well, so I obviously had to watch it. Also had to watch it, because, you know, Aries has his Brazil flag to show his nationalism. I always have my Canada flag in the background, so I had to show my nationalism.
I have a Kevin Estre sweatshirt.
That's not your nationalism.
Oz, this weekend was for us.
It was for us. So I had to watch my nationalism race, okay?
Same.
Boy, was it chaotic. If there was one race that I could just describe as chaos this weekend, it was Mosport. It felt like we were constantly under some sort of flag. There was a lot of crashes. Some were pretty serious. Tom Dillman is in the hospital, unfortunately. He has posted that he is okay, which we love to hear, but his crash was definitely a pretty scary one.
Okay for a racing driver also isn't what we would consider okay. They have a vastly different opinion of what okay is, so, like, it's good that Tom is, like, awake and conscious and on Twitter, but also, like, maybe someone should take his phone away from him, because he probably shouldn't be on his phone.
Probably not. And that also wasn't, like, the only, like, intense crash as well. The 04 had, like, a pretty serious crash as well. And luckily, like, no one had to be taken by ambulance for that crash, but also had a very significant one as well. So this race was just very chaotic, a lot of really bad crashes. So Yeah, so chaotic. We did finish under yellow. But speaking of Canada, because obviously the Canadian has to make this about Canada for a little bit, okay? We did get a Canadian on the podium. Was it a GTD normal? Yes. Was it P3? Yes, but Parker Thompson did come through for us, okay? So it was nice to have a Canadian on the podium.
I love how we had that as a similarity too, because everybody knows what happened between Eduardo Barrichello and the Iron Dames here in Interlagos. So another similarity for us. Third place in
Yes.
GT.
Yeah. And then both Canada livery cars, because we had two cars with like very Canadian liveries. The FAF car got fifth in its class. It was like more plaid than usual this weekend. And then AWA was just bright red Canada like flag basically as their livery, like maple leaf in the center, got ninth in its class. But I'm giving the most Canadian award because I deemed this an award, okay? It's my award for this race weekend to AWA purely because they had the team personnel and hockey jerseys. So they get the most Canadian award.
Yes. And then this week, we're gonna, normal this episode Wednesday. We have a special extra episode, bonus episode Friday. I sat down, did a full length, like it's a full episode length interview with Emmy, who is a British girl that went to the entire 72 hours of no sleep. So she went from the UK, went to 24 hours of Le Mans, stayed in Europe, went to 24 hours Nürburgring, still stayed in Europe, went 24 hours Spa, and then went home. So I thought it was a very fun conversation, and it will be out Friday as its very own bonus special episode.
So IndyCar seemed to have the elements out to get them, because we had tornadoes. If you hear a tornado siren, that does not mean, let me just stand here, watch the sky, and then film it. But that's what like half the field decided to do, as well as like team personnel who then filmed their drivers just standing there for content. Seek shelter, people.
I swear Josh from Ganassi was the only person that was like, I'm sheltering and I don't know why everyone else is outside. Like, he had a heck of a weekend. He almost got hit by 2 cars.
Yeah.
Like,
the only person I was like, I am not surprised that you are out here in the tornado is Kyle Kirkwood. And that's just because he's a Florida boy. And Florida boys, they're built different, okay? So when they posted him just on his scooter out looking at the tornadoes, I was like, that checks out. Everyone else, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I did not expect this twister crossover.
Yeah. But that wasn't the only thing that happened. This one is more recent that we heard of as of today. JHR, Hukos Hollinger Racing, one of their haulers left the track, was seen on the interstate on fire. They put out a statement that luckily everyone is safe. The statement kind of made it a little bit unclear on like the status of the car and what was in the hauler of like the equipment and everything, and if it was safe, it will be able to be ready for the next race, those sorts of things. But it's good to know that everyone involved was okay. It seems like other teams that like passed by went and checked on them as well. So that's nice to hear.
As far as Iowa goes, I guess there were only 6,000 total tickets sold. The stands looked absolutely empty on the broadcast. Real brutal. I forget what interview it was, but Scott Dixon said this is the last year for Iowa, and like people were kind of taking it like they were like, okay, did he say this is Iowa's last year? Did he say this is my last year at Iowa? Like they were trying, and like somebody went through and listened like word for word, and he did say like Iowa's not going to be back next year. So I don't know why it would be back. I mean, 6,000 tickets for a 2-day, and that's total for a 2-day event.
Wow.
Is pathetic. I mean, like, I feel like you could get 6,000 people out for like some silly fun race at a local track potentially, over 2 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big hit to the have more oval races people will come to them crowd, because obviously they're not going to them.
Yeah, that goes completely against that statement.
Yeah, and then I think the biggest story coming out of the weekend is Nolan Siegel's crash in the Saturday race. Really severe crash. Nolan is obviously not, back to full form yet. He was not cleared medically to race Sunday. And then people were questioning, like, why Arrow McLaren made the decision so late, and it was because they wanted to give Nolan every opportunity to race. Like, yes, there were 4 incredibly solid options at the track. Like, Ryan Hunter-Reay and Jack Harvey both drove Chevys at the 500. They were both at the track broadcasting. They could have hopped in a car. Linus Lundqvist was reportedly at the track. He said that he's going to be at every race. And then Tony Kanaan, the team principal, like, has done an oval refresher already this season. He is medically cleared to race ovals. So, that is the question I had about Linus jumping in for this race. Obviously, Tony, Jack, and Ryan have done their IMS work, right? Like with Jack and Ryan literally racing, and then Tony doing everything if he had to step in and race.
Yeah.
They're oval cleared. Is Linus oval cleared? We don't know. It doesn't matter because they didn't put him in the car. So, it's still unclear whether Nolan's going to race next weekend, though.
Yeah. If you haven't seen the news, it was announced today that Linus Lundqvist has been picked up by Arrow McLaren as a reserve driver in case Nolan Siegel doesn't clear medical to be able to compete at Toronto. So that way they have somebody who will be there the whole weekend to be able to complete every session to race.
And they don't need to worry about flying someone in last second like they did last year. If you remember the saga of getting Theo Pourchaire to the race after Alexander Rossi got hurt, like, they will have someone on site already. So that's smart thinking by the team.
Yeah. For me, when this was announced, obviously I'm a Linus fan, so I liked it, but also, feel for Nolan. For me, want a guy to take the time to recover, to be able to get back to his car, to his seat permanently. But also it made me actually think back to Prema's announcement at the beginning of the year when they announced Roman Grosjean as a reserve driver. And was that having a reserve driver the entire season, a guy you could have with your team the entire season in case of something happening, was that a smart decision to do for them? And should more teams have done that?
Yeah, I think with the amount of talent that is unsigned and the amount of talent in Indy Next, I don't think you really have that risk. I think that part of what they were doing was keeping Roman employed so he potentially didn't go do sports cars in Europe. Because I don't see any reason why he wouldn't go drive a Lamborghini in GT World Challenge or something had he not gotten that. I think that was more about retaining Roman for the team than about making sure they had somebody extra, because I do think that there are talents comparable to Roman that are available any given weekend for signing.
Oh, yeah. It was just like when this was announced, a thought that came across for me was like, oh, Arrow McLaren now kind of has a reserve driver, very similar in this case, kind of to how Prema has Roman Grosjean. And I think for like other teams like Andretti, CGR, you have Indy Next teams, so that like linkage of getting a next driver is a little bit like easier for lack of terms, but you also saw similar things with Nolan last year, so you never know. But now I think there's a conversation, at least in my opinion, to be had in NASCAR specifically, because our last couple of races, SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, and has won the road courses. Back to back has won these races recently. And there's this conversation around him specifically because of him being like this road street course guy, of if he deserves to be in the playoffs. I'm going to be honest with everyone. I think he flat out deserves to be in the playoffs. If you're able to win a race of any style, I think you deserve to be there. But also, the stats alone of what he's been able to accomplish are insane. He's won 3 races and the first driver to win back-to-back from pole since Jimmy Johnson in 2012. And then he is one of the guys that's been able to do 3 poles, converting those 3 poles to 3 wins consecutively on road course starts, which has tied Jeff Gordon for 98-99. Those stats alone, being able to be compared to those 2 names in NASCAR, is insane. And SVG flat out has said on his own that he needs to work on ovals. But I think he deserves to be on the playoffs by being able to get multiple wins, especially.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious answer is yes, it's a win in your in system. He deserves to be in the playoffs, but I think people need to be realistic about the fact that he's likely going to be out in the first round because he's not there yet on ovals. You know? Like, depending on where he ends up with playoff points, that may not be the case, but it realistically, like, he's not there yet. He's not going to the championship 4. Like, it's a win in your in system. We don't get to debate whether one win is worth more than another win. Like, you win, you get to go to the first round of the playoffs. End of story.
And as long as that's the way the system is for playoffs, any guy who can win a race, you deserve to be in the playoffs. I will say, especially when you're able to win multiple races, for me, it becomes even more obvious that you deserve to be in the playoffs. And last year we saw Kyle Larson won so many races, had issues with the car and things like that in the first rounds of the playoffs, and was able to advance to next rounds because of how many playoff points he had. So could be another possibility for SVG as well.
I think SVG needs to, obviously it's not an easy game because we've seen it before with other drivers like the whole adapting to NASCAR, but if this guy can get up to speed regarding the ovals, watch out, man.
I think it's a matter of time, in my opinion, personally. So, but yeah, another funny thing about this race weekend, like across the series that competed, for ARCA Xfinity Cup, only one driver for a race that was in wine country was able to drink the wine, and that's because the other 2 were underaged, so we had to get sparkling apple juice for them. So SVG was able to drink wine for the Cup race. Xfinity, Connor Zilish won. He's 18, so they had to get some sparkling apple juice. And then William Sawalich won in ARCA. He is also 18, so sparkling apple juice had to be used for that as well. And I just thought that was really funny for a race that like really prides itself with its marketing on being in wine country.
Something that came out during Formula E this weekend was the Porsche teammates haven't been talking all season. Pascal Wehrlein and Antonio Felix da Costa have just like been no contact with each other. It's been, I think, pretty obvious that Dak is trying to leave Porsche. Still unclear whether that's like leaving as a works driver. So like, you know, is he just trying to leave the FE team and still do potentially sports cars for Porsche? Or is he just quitting the brand or trying to leave the brand? Because obviously we saw a decent amount of that happen last year with Porsche for this year. Is this another one?
I'll say of the ones that have left or potentially leaving, I'd be okay with this one personally.
I think we all know.
Yeah. And then just like a thing that I've seen going around is, you know, obviously Christian Horner was removed as CEO and team principal of Red Bull Racing. It's been pretty clear that Jos Verstappen does not like Christian Horner. And to me, it feels like if it was about Christian Horner's misconduct allegations, why did they wait over a year to get rid of him?
Yeah.
And then what's been big in the Verstappen camp lately is these rumors of Max signing with Mercedes. So were the Mercedes rumors a way to get the board to make a move that makes the Verstappen camp happy? Or is Max leaving anyways, and this is a way to weaken the competition for next year? I mean, Christian Horner is one of the more successful team principals, like, in Formula One history. So getting rid of him, definitely, I think, provides an advantage to other teams. So that's just I guess a little online conspiracy theory that was interesting to me.
It's been so funny to see people like tracking flights and being like, they're in the same like location. Oh my god, what does this mean? And it's like, they could have just randomly picked to decide to both vacation in the same spot. Not everything's so deep.
Yeah, it just feels like one of those things where people just desperately keep their eyes on something, trying to find something, anything to fuel their whatever is inside their minds, assuming there's anything in there. And then in the end nothing changes. And then if nothing changes, I'm just gonna be doing a Jeremy Clarkson, and I'm gonna be standing there like, told you. Like,
Yeah.
You know what it feels like to me?
It's
like a junk drawer, and you're opening the junk drawer trying to look for something.
Yeah. Oh no, people are being like desperate with this because the silly season hasn't kicked off yet, and they so desperately want the silly season to kick off. And maybe it will, maybe it won't. But it'll be interesting to watch because that would be a massive move.
I think regarding the silly season, I think it's a matter of time. Like, when the summer break kicks off, we're gonna be swamped with wild stuff online. I can already see it happening.
Definitely.
For sure.
Yes.
And then I came up with our own, well, no, actually, Travis came up with our spotter stand topic because he said for the 4th of July episode that we should celebrate other national days, and today is Bastille Day, so yay, France, or something. I've had a baguette the whole episode, so.
Or something.
Or something.
Got my Kevin sweatshirt on, he's French. Don't know if he cares about Bastille Day. Like,
I will say, if Kevin was listening to this, he would be telling you right now that they don't call it Bastille Day.
I know, they say something in French about the 14th of July, but I don't speak French, as we've gone over, despite doing Duolingo. So I don't know my numbers yet. So yeah.
I'm just saying
Something
he'd
in
be
French,
roasting
but
us.
I'm calling it Bastille Day. Sorry, Kevin.
He'd be roasting us right now for the fact we're calling it Bastille Day.
Not like he hasn't done it before.
Kevin. Right.
Yeah.
Sorry for calling it Bastille Day, but happy one, I guess?
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod on Twitter. Nicole is at Nicole on Racing. Austin is at Hendrik Claren, and Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow.
The orange.
Are we French and stay orange now?
Hey, it's Bastille Day.
Yeah, for France.
France.